Oil workers found something strange out at sea.
You seen something like that before?
No. That's new.
At the same time, the manager also noticed the scene. They saw a thick fog suddenly rise from the distant sea, and it was rolling straight toward their oil drilling platform. In just over 10 seconds, the entire platform was completely swallowed by it. But what was even stranger was that as the fog rolled in, the platform's communication system suddenly went down. The manager thought the signal tower had malfunctioned and rushed people to go check it. But Buzz, who went up first, felt something was wrong just before reaching the top. The teammate who should have been behind him never followed, and everything around him was unusually quiet. Not even a hint of ocean wind. Buzz couldn't help but feel his hair stand on end. But since he was almost at the top, he forced himself to keep climbing. But the next second, he realized it was just a bunch of seagulls scaring him. Buzz cursed them out furiously, but it only amplified the fear in his heart. His legs trembled uncontrollably. Fortunately, his teammate finally caught up. Buzz calmed down and kept climbing, but after finishing the inspection and getting ready to leave with his teammate, he found a dying seagull in the corner. Then the medical team rushed over after hearing the news. But the strange thing was, even after falling 40 meters onto the metal deck, Buzz somehow wasn't killed on the spot, but he was basically as good as dead, because the platform didn't have the equipment to perform surgery, and there was no signal to call for a rescue helicopter. Watching a young life about to slip away, everyone felt a wave of sorrow. But unexpectedly, when no one was around, Buzz suddenly woke up again like a miracle. His mind was flashing with all kinds of images: ocean floor cracks, a massive tsunami, and some kind of mysterious passage. But the strangest things were still ahead, because of the safety accident. The manager held an emergency meeting on the deck, but before he got through 2 sentences, a large amount of unknown material began falling from the sky. At first, they thought it was snow, but once they caught some in their hands, they realized it was some kind of black ash. Everyone froze in place, having no idea where the ash came from. But soon they were even more stunned. The barely alive Buzz was suddenly able to walk, and with a terrified look he said,
"So late. It's already started."
Everyone was focused on the miracle of Buzz coming back to life, so no one paid attention to what he said. Only Anna from the project team asked him about it later, but Buzz had already forgotten why he said those words. He only remembered seeing something strange in the fog at the top. Then a bunch of weird voices rushed into his head, and he passed out and fell. Anna was shocked, but the doctor thought Buzz was mentally unstable from a concussion, and tried to give him a sedative, but Buzz resisted violently.
Oh, you're not listening! There's something out there! It's coming!
Anna asked what it was. Buzz said it was a massive tsunami. As soon as he said that, the doctor completely lost his composure, worried that Buzz might be right. Anna didn't care, because the drilling platform could withstand waves far higher than anything recorded in this sea area. Her only question was, why Buzz recovered so fast? The doctor couldn't explain it, and could only marvel at the human body. But stranger things were still coming. That night, the backup ship suddenly signaled the platform with lights. The comms officer rushed out to record it, and based on the flashing pattern, translated that the backup ship had communication failure and requested to approach the platform. The safety officer thought it was a good chance for evacuation, since the platform wasn't safe anymore. But Anna objected, because they still didn't know if there was actual danger, and stopping operations would cause unnecessary losses. Since both sides made sense, the manager chose a middle ground, and used lights to tell the backup ship to stand by and wait for further instructions. But going back and forth like this was torture for the comms officer out in the ash. After staying in the ash too long, his body started reacting abnormally. After finally finishing his shift, he wanted to take a hot shower, but when he took off his clothes he shook off some black liquid. The comms officer stared in shock, and after checking his arm, realized it was his tattoo pigment coming off. And while washing, his fingernails started bleeding. Then dizziness hit him, followed by intense stomach pain, until he collapsed vomiting blood. When his co-workers found him, he was no longer breathing, and the strangest part was that the autopsy showed he died from massive blood loss, but his body had no major wounds, so the doctor suspected a viral infection. Anna seemed inspired by his words, and rushed 2 people to the chemical lab. She said after analyzing the black ash, she found the ash was actually a strange organism, capable of merging with human blood. Based on Buzz and the comms officer, Anna suspected long-term inhalation and contact with open wounds would cause infection, but it could also repair damage and purge impurities. The comms officer's tattoo fading was the result of impurity removal, and Buzz surviving the fall and recovering so quickly was probably thanks to the organism. The manager wondered why the comms officer died. The doctor guessed the organism wanted a healthy host, and since the comms officer had severe Parkinson's, substance, his body rejected it and he died, so the danger still existed. The manager immediately ordered all workers outside to return, and sent a distress signal to the backup ship. But moments after the broadcast, the black ash suddenly stopped falling. This should have been good news, but visibility in the fog was too low, and the backup ship couldn't navigate accurately, and was heading straight toward the platform. A collision was inevitable. The manager panicked and changed plans, told Raymond to use the lights to warn the ship to change course, and told all workers to get inside and prepare for impact. But an old employee noticed someone still standing at the bottom of the platform, and no matter how he shouted, the man didn't respond. So he went down to find him, and discovered it was Buzz, who should have been in the medical room. The old man was confused, but with no time to question him, he told Buzz to hurry inside, but Buzz refused.
I can't go back.
The old man was confused about what Buzz wanted to see. Buzz didn't answer, just kept staring at his feet. The old man saw a blue glow rising from the seafloor, and asked what was down there.
It's life. From the water. That's how it starts.
The old man didn't understand a word, but with the ship getting closer, he didn't have time to argue. He tried to drag Buzz away, but Buzz resisted. During the struggle, they began fighting, and when the safety officer arrived, the old man was already vomiting seawater and collapsed in pain, but Buzz acted like he didn't know what he had done. Seeing the ship about to hit, Buzz rushed up the stairs, and the safety officer shielded the old man. Seeing the ship successfully turn away from the platform, everyone let out a sigh of relief, but the old man still didn't wake up. The manager rushed to save him, but when the doctor checked, he confirmed the old man was dead. The doctor assumed he drowned, but after hearing from the safety officer that he died fighting Buzz, the doctor looked shocked. The manager quickly asked what was wrong.
He drowned.
Everyone felt their scalp tingle, but what made it worse was that the backup ship had vanished without a trace. With their last escape route gone, the manager prepared for a long stay on the platform, but fate toyed with them. The next morning, the fog began to clear visibly, but what appeared instead was the other drilling platform completely destroyed. Everyone grew even more terrified, afraid they would meet the same fate. Meanwhile, Raymond ran into Buzz in the medical room. Because of the old man's death, Raymond didn't dare approach, but Buzz already treated Raymond as one of his own, and invited him to help protect the mysterious organism. Raymond was confused. Buzz didn't answer, just stared at the injured hand Raymond got yesterday. At that moment, Anna suddenly walked in. Buzz immediately turned and ran, because of the danger he posed. Anna and Raymond didn't chase him. The manager heard the news, and organized a platform-wide search for Buzz, to prevent him from infecting others. At the same time, Anna made a new discovery. The cellular structure of the black ash was similar to a fossil they found when this well was first drilled, and oil is formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals, after millions of years of compression. So she theorized that the organism might also be millions of years old, and the oil field they were drilling dated back to the late Permian period. Little did they know, their theory would soon be confirmed during the search. One worker searching the production zone found blue light coming from the storage tank. He couldn't understand why, so he called others to see. Buzz saw this and quickly struck. When safety officers arrived, the bearded man was seriously injured. Pike was furious, and swore to find Buzz and teach him a lesson, but he unexpectedly found that plants were growing inside the storage tank, and at that moment, the sea floor suddenly collapsed, causing the entire platform to shake violently. The safety officers panicked, but the injured bearded man clutched his hand in pain. They asked him what was wrong, and learned one of his rotten teeth had fallen out. The virus was purifying his body. Realizing he was exposed, the bearded man knocked out a safety officer, and ran deeper into the production area. Meanwhile, a female worker spotted Buzz, and after the shaking stopped, she followed him, but she discovered that everywhere Buzz walked, strange plants had grown, and Buzz was tending to them near the storage tank. The woman knew she couldn't fight him, so she tried persuading him to come back, but he refused again, because he felt its presence here, and received its memories from millions of years ago. But the memories were too huge, so he couldn't explain them. He only knew that this organism would eventually destroy the platform, and plunge the world into darkness, so he had to protect it. The woman was confused. Why protect something so dangerous? But as soon as she asked, memories of the drilling platform flooded into Buzz's mind again. He almost collapsed, but after regaining clarity, he said he still didn't know. He only knew the ancient organism was dying, and needed protection. The woman was completely lost. At that moment, the bearded man appeared again, warning her not to take Buzz away. His expression twisted and hostile, ready to infect her, but Pike arrived just in time, and scared them off with a powerful light, saving the woman. After this, the manager immediately sealed the production area, thinking this would calm things down, but Buzz was already preparing his next move. With guidance from the ancient organism, Buzz decided to shut down the pipeline connected to the oil field, but it was harder than he expected. After the bearded man closed the valve, all the pressure in the oil field surged into the pipeline, which which would eventually explode. The only safe solution was to shut the wellhead at the seafloor, but the controls were in the main control room, and Buzz couldn't get there, so he asked the organism for help, and it gave him a reckless plan. Meanwhile, Anna learned from Amy what Buzz said, and became more convinced the organism was millions of years old. The next step was figuring out why Buzz wanted to protect it, but while they were researching, Raymond sat quietly drawing circles. Just then, the manager urgently summoned them over the broadcast. Buzz was shutting down the platform's safety systems, which would overload the oil system, causing a blowout that would kill everyone. The manager had no choice, and ordered the wellhead completely shut down, but the recent shaking had damaged the system, so they had to send a remote robot to the seafloor to manually close it, and this was exactly what Buzz wanted. But as the robot descended toward the bottom, they all saw something unbelievable. A glowing blue circular pattern had appeared on the seafloor. Seafloor beneath the offshore oil drilling base suddenly cracked open with a rift glowing blue. As the rift spread fast, in just a few minutes, a ring-shaped and eerie structure formed on the seabed. The employees trapped inside the base saw this, and all suspected it was the nest of those ancient creatures. Seeing the coral from the Permian era still bubbling inside, Anna guessed,
What if it's just woken up?
the manager feared they would disturb it, and quickly reminded the operator to guide the robot to slowly pass over the ring from above. They decided to shut down the wellhead first before making any plans, and using the blue ring as a clue, Anna searched the oil company's archives, and found a document titled Sea Monster Project. But why would the oil company research sea monsters? Anna felt something was definitely off, and decided to open it and take a look. But to her surprise, even as the project director, she did not have access, plus communication was cut off, so she could not contact the company. With no choice, Anna tried to guess other passwords, but she unexpectedly found a sheet full of ring sketches. Anna instantly felt something was wrong, because this was her boyfriend Raymond's desk, and when Raymond was secretly drawing these, they had not yet seen that ring under the sea, so it was clear Raymond should be infected by the ancient creature's virus. But Anna did not want to jump to conclusions just from a drawing, so she decided to find him and ask directly. To her surprise, his home was already empty, only a farewell note left behind. Anna knew Raymond left because he feared infecting her, so she rushed out chasing after him, but Raymond had fully made up his mind, and went straight into the infected zone. The doctor who came with him did not know the reason, stood up and ran after him, trying to stop him from doing something stupid. But as soon as she entered, she saw something unbelievable. Inside the steel-built facility, there were many green plants she had never seen growing everywhere. It looked like a primitive forest, and countless blue light dots were gathering in the air, all drawn to the doctor's belly where she was 2 months pregnant. Even though she did not know what the light dots wanted, she could feel they meant no harm. Anna, who arrived later, was stunned by the scene. Seeing the dots gathering more and more, Anna snapped back and quickly pulled the doctor out of the infected zone. But before they could even take a breath, a ship approached the platform. Everyone thought the rescue team had arrived, and happily packed up to leave. But Buzz in the infected area sensed danger approaching. At the same time, the workers ready to evacuate also realized it was not a rescue team, but lifeboats from another drilling platform. Everyone felt disappointed, but out of humanitarian concern, they decided to take them in. But the fat guy who came out first acted very arrogant. Not only did he not say thanks, he even ordered Anna to take him to the control room. Anna saw he was trying to act like the boss, and firmly refused. But the fat guy immediately showed his badge, his position much higher than Anna's, so Anna had no choice but to comply. But she did not expect the first thing he ordered after taking control was to send employees into the infected work zone to resume production. The manager naturally refused to risk employee lives, and declined based on safety concerns. The fat guy had to agree because of risk control. The manager started suspecting his intentions, but since final decisions were his own, he was not afraid the fat guy would cause trouble. Meanwhile, Anna's research on the ring led to a new discovery. After repeated simulations, she found these rings resembled tree rings, so she concluded these rings were the ancient creature's way of recording time. The 5 inner circles matched the 5 mass extinctions in Earth history, and the circle with a gap should represent the Holocene extinction that has not happened yet. Once that gap closes, all life on Earth would be wiped out, and a new era would begin. So this creature appeared to cause human extinction. The manager was horrified after hearing this, but had no way of stopping it. The fat guy saw his chance, and finally revealed his real purpose. He came to inject poisonous gas into the sea, to kill these creatures and save the world. And he only ended up stranded, because his previous drilling platform attempt failed.
Wait.
Despite his words, the manager still doubted him, because an oil company had no reason to save humanity. The fat guy knew he could not hide it, and spilled the truth. The company already knew about the creature when developing this sea region, and these creatures posed a destructive threat to oil. Even a tiny bit entering the storage would turn all oil back into organic matter, causing the entire field to be scrapped. Hearing this, the manager finally understood. The ancient creatures blocked the company's profits, so the company wanted them killed. Though he found this shameful, the company's previous attack had awakened and enraged the ancient creature. to prevent human extinction. The manager reluctantly followed the fat guy's plan, but Anna strongly opposed, since the fat guy had already failed once, and the ancient creature would not die so easily. Doing this would only anger it further. The assistant agreed, so the manager decided to seek peace first, and asked Raymond, who was infected but still conscious, to help. They planned to attack only if peace talks failed, but as the group set out, the fat guy used the empty management area to quietly find the technician who escaped with him. He brought him to the control room, claiming the peace plan would definitely fail, and the company already predicted the creature would cut communication, so they arranged a helicopter, which would arrive in half an hour to pick him up. So as long as the technician helped inject the poison, he would bring him along to escape. The timid technician reluctantly agreed. Meanwhile, the manager's group reached Buzz. They said they understood. Buzz was not controlled by the ancient creature, but was protecting them to prove humanity was friendly. But Buzz did not respond, only stared at the ancient creature with teary eyes.
So like, shut me up.
Anna urged Buzz to try again, or the whole world would be doomed. But Buzz could no longer do anything. His mind blank, and his body weakened from using too much mental strength. Elsewhere, the fat guy's plan was nearly done, but the technician's heart grew uneasy, because the fat guy had betrayed teammates before, and as expected, after the technician casually spoke, the fat guy revealed his true colors. He never intended to bring the technician along, because he knew too much. Seeing the technician laugh instead of panic, the fat guy sensed something was wrong. The technician had secretly turned on the platform's broadcast, so now everyone knew about the helicopter, and understood the fat guy's ugly intentions. But it was too late. The poison device had already activated, and the ancient creature was fully enraged. The ring began closing faster. The entire platform started shaking violently. The fat guy ran for the deck, seeing the helicopter arrive as promised. He was ready to leave everyone behind, but Parker was already waiting. The fat guy begged for mercy, saying he could take Parker along, but Parker was not buying it, because even if he killed the fat guy, he could leave in the helicopter himself. Luckily, the doctor stopped him, planning to take the fat guy back for legal punishment. At the same time, the technician reported he had shut down the device, but it was still too late. The ancient creatures gathered, forming a closed ring, which meant destruction. Anna tried to plead again, but clearly, the ancient creatures were not giving them a chance. They could only run for their lives. But halfway through, Buzz decided to stay. Facing the manager's persuasion, Buzz said he would die either way, so he might as well stay and protect these plants. The manager realized Buzz wanted to prove human goodwill with his life, and said no more.
I won't forget.
Then ran toward the deck. At the same time, a massive tsunami appeared on the horizon, stretching beyond sight, rushing toward the platform. In the blink of an eye, it destroyed a drilling platform nearby. At the last moment, the manager and the others boarded the helicopter, and the tsunami passed beneath them, missing by less than 2 meters. Buzz walked toward the ancient creature, until his body was fully covered.
Wait! He's gonna hit!
Seeing how easily the platform was destroyed, everyone finally felt true fear. But what terrified them more was the tsunami heading straight inland, and from the fat guy they learned the helicopter's destination was not home. Everyone stared at him, asking where they were going, but the fat guy refused to answer, as if he did not want to recall that place, and so they flew toward an unknown future. Whether Buzz died, and where the helicopter was going, would only be known in Season 2. But the tsunami had already reached inland.